Hi.
Hello, AJ. How are you doing?
Good.
So,
What?
What are you supposed to say?
I don't know.
Well, can you do the intro? This is the...
What is intro, man?
AJ, can you say, this is the Teaching Bites podcast with Fred and Sharon?
This is the Teaching Bites podcast with Fred and Sharon and AJ. Now let's play the music.
Say, episode 7.
Episode 7.
What are you struggling with?
Nothing.
Welcome to the Teaching Bites podcast, our unprofessional development resource to take your teaching to the next level. Here are your hosts, Fred and Sharon Jaravata.
And welcome back to our show where we share bite-sized tips, ideas, and tricks so you can make them your own, whether you are a brand new teacher or a veteran teacher that needs an extra spark. Take your teaching to the next level. We're your host. She's Sharon.
And Fred.
And I'm Fred. That's right. All right. So welcome, everyone. In dedication to the 7th episode of our podcast, we want to talk about the number 7 and some pretty cool facts about the number 7. When you think of number 7, I think of immediately 7-Eleven, 7-Up, the 7 continents, 7 seas,
7 wonders of the ancient world,
and the deadly sin, 7 deadly sins, and my favorite spy of all time,
James Bond.
007. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
And also...
Oh, please don't sue us. Yeah, we just, like I said, the notes to the song. Don't sue us. We have no money.
Okay, and also we all know Harry Potter by J.K. Rowling. She has she has 7 books in the series, and Weasley is the 7th child and only daughter of the Weasley family.
That's crazy, all these
I know.
7s.
Yeah, and then also Harry Potter was born in July, 7th month of the year, as is our son. And the wizarding students must complete 7 years at school.
That is so weird. I never really connected that.
And there's a lot more. You could look it up on your own, but it's so like
Wikipedia.
mind blown.
7, yeah, 7's always been like a weird number in astrology and the Bible and so on. It's a pretty interesting number.
Kind of creepy to me actually when I think of 7.
Like the movie 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, if you watch that movie, be very get ready.
Yeah.
Especially what's in the box. Anyway, so our 7th episode, it's about what are you struggling with? And we're going to talk about our struggles as professional teachers and how it affects us personally, especially as parents of 2 young kids. Just note that even though we will talk about our struggles here on this episode, we want to get you thinking about your own struggles and inspire you with our stories so you can find your own solutions to those struggles that you're facing. And we want to just go and share with you and see what you can pick and choose, and hopefully you guys can share that with us in a future episode. So that'd be great. Right.
Yeah, and kind of taking a little break from the tips we've been giving to people. We feel like we want to connect with you in this way and just, be open about what's going on. So for me, as you all know, I teach 3rd grade, a self-contained classroom of 23 students now. Added a 23rd the first semester.
So can you talk about the 23 real quick? Why is that a struggle, 23 students in 3rd grade?
Well, I had to get...
This is the San Francisco Bay Area. What's the law?
Well, it was supposed to have 22.
22 is the legal
students
maximum?
by contract.
By contract, okay.
Right. So if you get any additional students, you're supposed to be compensated by either another teacher or money. I'll probably get some money.
You mean another teacher will pay you?
No, getting another teacher to come to like help teach, but that's
I'll be like an assistant or
something like that. But I haven't seen that happen.
I bet you it's never happened before.
I don't know. So, going back, my big struggle is balancing all the tasks I have, planning time, to grading paper time, responding to emails from staff, administration, and parents, and my committee responsibilities. I'm the tech lead at my school. I have to lead my school and going in one direction. We all just got our Chromebook carts for the SBAC,
What's
the Smarter
SBAC?
Balanced Assessment Consortium. It's our new
Great word.
it's our new acronym for the STAR test. It's all online. So I did a little training last week on that. Another struggle for me is, with a writer's workshop, making sure I reach every student in conferencing in quality.
Now, going back to those committees, are those been assigned to you, or did you volunteer to those committees?
Volunteer.
You volunteered to that, okay.
But everyone has to do like 2 or 3, and some of them are more weighty.
Right.
They require more work. So my principal wanted us to just be mindful of that, and
At least get one like solid committee, and then the other one could be like a little more.
Yeah.
Not as heavy. Right.
Right. And then other struggle I have is reaching all learners. We all know about differentiation, but this year especially, I have a really impacted schedule with a lot of special teachers, like visual arts, PE, music. I'm very grateful because the parents raise a lot of money to pay for these special teachers. At the same time, I feel crunched for time and trying to teach the core curriculum to my class. So trying to balance that as well. And another one is I have a blog, mrsjaravada.com.
Your classroom blog.
My classroom blog. And I do a weekly blog that just goes over what we're doing in each subject, the heads up for parents.
I have a question about the blog. Yeah, so how is that going? I know in our school also, we're also struggling with that, blogs. What's your take on that? Like, what's your faculty doing, and what's the mandate on that, if there is a mandate?
There's no mandate. My principal does suggest we really, have a parent-home connection, and I believe strongly in it. So I look at this as like a proactive way to just, let the parents know what's going on, and they should know.
Have other teachers are they using blogs, or are they doing like PDF newsletters or emails?
There's a few that have their own blogs, but I would say I'm the minority that has one. But I do weekly blogs, so I make it released on every Tuesday, and so parents know to check it, or those who subscribe will get that email. But my big struggle with that is putting pictures up. I somehow just don't get to it, especially field trips and events.
Right. I'm just going to jump in right here also, because that's happening in my school also, where blogging it's not mandated, but it's very highly encouraged. And it takes time to build a blog post. You need to put pictures, you need to put some context to those pictures. Some are just putting like quick captions, and that's fine. That's great, actually, but we do want to increase the home school connection. But there's also a way how to make blogging a little easier, especially for the audience who is reading that, like the parents reading those blogs.
What do you mean by making it easier?
So everyone, it seems, has some kind of mobile device, an iPhone, an Android phone, some kind of a smartphone, and that's how they're consuming information. And it's the same thing when they get their classroom, their child's classroom blogs. They click on the link that the teacher sent, and they go to the blog. And sometimes, if the teacher, there's some teachers who do write a lot. They're kind of compelled to, or they feel like they need to write like huge 500, 1,000 word essay type blogs. And unfortunately, that doesn't work anymore, it seems. Blogs, if you notice that they're shorter in nature, they're either like 5, 6, 7 short paragraphs. And when I mean short, sometimes there are only 1 to even 2, at the maximum 3 sentences per paragraph. And they're also using a lot of bullet points and a lot of bolding of the keywords of those paragraphs, so you get a gist. People scroll through their phones really fast, and
Yeah, true.
There are people. I mean, there's research showing that we have our attention spans actually lower than goldfish. We're down to 8 seconds. There's some research showing that right now, and it's very interesting. You're competing against Facebook. The teacher's competing against Facebook. They're competing against Snapchat. They're competing against LinkedIn or other social media, getting the parents' attention. So it seems the struggle in the blogging thing is the teacher finding time to blog, but also having parents actually read that in getting the context of it.
That's a good idea, because actually mine tend to be kind of long, but maybe I do need to put bullet points more.
Bullet points and bolding, and a compelling title so you grab their attention. Pictures help a lot. But changing up the angles of the picture. So we're such a visual society. So that's we're competing against the other internet sites and all that. So some little tips on that.
Right. Okay. So besides my struggles, I have like small wins, things that are really amazing. And since I teach 3rd grade, it's all about independence and, being independent thinkers and being responsible for themselves and others. They're slowly getting the routine. So that's nice to see.
So that's a small win. What's a small win? Can you define that real quick for our listeners?
Oh, it's like, talk about struggles and all the things that are challenging, but these are the like little gems, like things that you should be appreciative about your job, and the things that should keep you going.
The small wins, right? The small wins really help.
Right. And the other small win is that I am very passionate about, creating a positive classroom culture and classroom management, and I'm noticing that my kids now are really great in good group work. I've trained them really well of how to respectfully talk to each other and fairly work on tasks and taking turns and really listening.
So how did you do that? How did you get your class get really good at the group work and their workflow? How did you do that?
Well, I model it and I really explain each step, and I use like you've heard a talking piece, right? Where you're holding the talking piece. It could be from a pencil to a piece of bookmark paper, but that only that person has to speak. And I talk about open-mindedness and listening to other people's response before they just try to formulate their own. Because often you see kids will raise their hand when someone else is trying to respond to something, and I don't think they're listening. They're just trying to get their answer in. So I teach the kids how to really think and not
slow
no
down
ego,
a little bit, right?
Like just because that person said it doesn't mean that that's not right, or just because you have an idea doesn't mean you're always right. So that's big.
That is pretty big. Now, my question about that now is how long did you have to train them? It's already mid-January right now. How did you train them, or how long did you train them to the point where they're independent and they can do all that?
Well, since like the first week of school.
Really, at the first
time.
day, they were able. At the first.
No, they weren't able to, but I taught them throughout the semester.
Throughout the semester, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're getting better. They're not like they're not where I want them to be yet. But for this time of the year, it's pretty good.
Right.
After coming back from winter break.
Yeah, after the break, those killer kids,
they
right?
regress a little bit, but I mean, generally, it's really amazing. I feel like sometimes I'm just, the coach on the side, right? Just watching. You just autopilot. Do I have to be here for this? Because they're really it takes off, and it's pretty amazing.
That's pretty cool.
So that keeps me going, even among the struggles. So how about you? What are yours?
Struggles, yes, of course. I have struggles also. Just to remind everyone, I am a K-8 educational innovation coordinator at my school. And my role used to be called the computer teacher, but it's changed a lot and has definitely more responsibilities than the computer lab, which we revamped into a Spark Studio. One thing that I'm struggling in my role is the trying to get teachers, my colleagues, who I love very much, get them to start using the technology, whether it's iPads or even if it's Microsoft Word or Keynote or whatever tool, some kind of technological tool, to use it more effectively, more efficiently, and if possible, more elegantly. The 3 E's I like to use. I'm trying to help the teachers to innovate their curriculum. It's easy. People have been doing the same kind of presentations for the past 10, 20 years, and it works. But we also want to encourage, and that's my job, how to encourage other teachers, my colleagues, to move beyond the typical, the typical PowerPoint presentation and try something new.
So can you give us an example of what you mean by trying something new or innovating?
Right. So, innovating, like how instead of right now, well, one actually win that I had, excuse me. One example is that I had a colleague. They saw that we do have a 3D printer that we're lucky enough to have, and they do a bird project. They used to do a bird project in third grade with KidPix, one of the programs on the Mac computer, and they used to draw and write about it. But we've taken that and innovated. We changed it up a little bit, where they started coding it using Scratch, one of my favorite tools, and they also started making 3D models on their iPads and are able to print those out. So now it becomes tangible. It's not stuck on KidPix. Now it's coded. They're animating it, and they're also printing them out. They're creating it and they're printing them out. So now it's sitting on their desks. So that's pretty cool. The bird that they're studying it. So something like that, trying to innovate it, trying to change it up a little bit. So now when they're presenting, they can actually hold their little 3D model while their code is playing behind them, or they can share that with their grandmother across the country.
Yeah, that reminds me, we have on our Teaching Bites Facebook page, Fred just posted the iPad pedagogy wheel that infuses the Bloom's taxonomy with the SAMR model. So you guys could check that out. It's a visual. It's really cool. You can see the icons of the apps, and it's great to have even just on your desktop.
Right. And also I want to give a little shout out to another post I posted on Facebook, is that I'm creating a Scratch, how to use Scratch in the classroom cheat sheet. So look out for that. It's free. It's a free gift for everyone who signs up. It's the basics in using Scratch in the classroom, and there are a lot of ways to do that. But I think this is the best way. You'll be up and running within minutes. So that'll be pretty cool. Look out for that. Moving on.
Yep.
Another struggle that I'm facing also. It's not really a struggle, but it's more of a balancing act. I work with quite a few teachers, a lot of teachers, and working with different personalities and making sure I meet their needs, and I like that. But it's also a balancing act, So, and people, go through their struggles every day, and they may be not doing well that day, and I gotta make sure I balance that. Make sure that I meet their needs no matter what. So that's one struggle. Also, being a tech teacher, you would assume I know everything about tech, but tech always changes, and unfortunately, tech a lot of times, it doesn't even work. So it gets frustrating. Apple TV doesn't mirror my iPad doesn't mirror to the Apple TV. Then I revert back to the whiteboard with a expo marker, stuff like that. It's annoying. It gets annoying, but we're very lucky at my school. But that's a struggle that I'm going through.
And also, people think you're the IT person sometimes. Like you're supposed to know all the IT stuff.
Yeah, that's a different thing too.
People don't know that's totally different.
Right. So another big thing that I'm struggling with is I teach a 5th grade and a 6th grade class in the digital media and literacy class. And another thing is I noticed that, I don't know if it's probably because of the breaks that we've had, telling them over and over and over again the directions of what to do, how to send homework and do the homework and send it back to me, and the whole workflow. It gets tiresome. It gets to a point it becomes frustrating. So I just gotta make sure I push through and remind them all the time, remind them online, remind them in person. I'll even do spot checks if I need to. But that's the way to push through that struggle that I'm going through. Also, another thing is trying to stay focused. There's a lot of things happening in my school, a lot of things to innovate with, things to experiment with, and a lot of cool things, many things. But I can get distracted really easily, especially if it's something new and shiny, or some kind of debate going on in the faculty room and it keeps going. I get distracted and I can learn. I'm struggling how to cut through all the noise that's happening at work and at home, and just try to focus and try to break things down into smaller, bite-sized chunks so it's workable for me. So my small wins are that when technology works, it's amazing. I love it. It's so cool. It's amazing. It's like magic almost, but it isn't magic. You can set everything up. If it works properly, it's amazing. Kids get it. Other colleagues get it. Parents get it, and everyone is happy. There's no more lost homework when they do turn it in. And also how to spark ideas. My lab, or my studio now, it's a place to spark ideas. So one of my small wins there is to encourage teachers to come in and watch the other classes that they don't really see ever. Like a 5th grade teacher comes in, watch the 1st grade class coming in and see what they're creating, and I see the 5th grade get some kind of idea or sparking her in her curriculum, in her teaching, and that is a very cool thing to see. I can't explain it really well, but you can see it in that person's eyes. They'll start really thinking about it, start brainstorming about it, and just they'll just write things down and they'll just leave, but you can tell they are really something sparked in their head, and then they'll come back and then, hey Fred, check this out, I want to try this, I want to put a movie in a keynote. Like, oh man, that's amazing. Yes, try to do something like that. It's actually really inspiring for me. So that's a small win for me.
Yeah, I have a question about that. I know you guys just opened your Spark Studio a couple months ago, and so the fact that you're saying some people have been coming in to observe other classes, that's pretty wonderful. But also, is that becoming a culture now, or some people, slowly warming up to it? Or
I think it's slowly warming up to it. One of the things that breaks did happen. Holidays and breaks, and you just got to remind people that. I think that's one of the things that we're following up on. Just remind people, hey, we have coffee in our Spark Studio.
Yeah,
Come in.
Do.
Yeah, we have
but
a
they
little
have
Keurig.
To drink it there.
They have to drink it there. They can't leave. That's one of the things. You want coffee, you stay there and drink it while you watch the kids do crazy stuff in that studio. One quote I found from Merlin.
The Wizard?
The Wizard, yes.
Oh.
It's one of the books, I forget. But one thing that a small win that encourages me to get small wins, or to find small wins, is what Merlin says, that the best thing for being sad or being depressed or even being frustrated with struggles is to begin learning something new. So that's one thing I take to heart, and try to find something different, something new, something goes beyond what I'm doing now, and just try to share that with people.
And it could be learning something new about, and not just teaching, something to enrich your life.
Right. I mean,
Because you like reading a lot at night, I noticed.
right.
So.
I do that, but I also do that at work. I'm able to do that with my breaks. I love doing that. I like sharing what I've found, but also it's just not also the teaching, the professional part, but also hey, I know you like Breaking Bad, the TV show. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? Did you see this episode? Doing that, the small talk, those are like small wins also.
Right.
And actually probably just as valuable as the professional small wins, just to get them their minds off of their struggles, but connecting them personally.
Right, and pop culture helps.
And it does help, if you see that, like Breaking Bad, or you see the Justin Timberlake video or Beyonce video.
Yep,
Did you hear the Teaching Bites podcast? And so on. Sorry for the plug.
Shameless plug.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so now I want to talk about, as parents, we're teachers and we're parents. So we, work full time, and our kids go to school, and they're young. They're almost 2 and almost 5. So they're, they still need us. They can't just go by themselves somewhere yet.
I can't wait
Still
for
have to
that
give them
day.
showers.
They're still in diapers.
Still in
At least one
diapers.
is in diapers still.
So, and right now one of our youngest one's sick right now. So that too, taking days off. It's just part of the job.
It just
being a
drains
parent,
us, yeah.
Do
we want to stay? Of course, we want to stay with our kids when they're sick, but we also are compelled to go to work. We have our kids there also, but of course, families first, right?
Mm-hmm. Another struggle is time. Time with them. So we see them a couple hours after school, and then it's time for bed.
Shower, dinner, and bed.
The routine,
right?
yeah.
We get stuck in that routine, and that's the thing. I think we need to break out of that routine once in a while.
Yeah, like sometimes we used to go somewhere, go out to eat or something instead.
You go to friends' family parties or
right, on a weekday. That's kind of fun. The other thing is, the wonderful thing about our kids' schools that the teachers email us like weekly highlights or what's going on, concepts they're teaching. So as teachers, ourselves, we're like, oh, we gotta, check out those books about the caterpillar they're learning about, or go take them to see that. But our time is so limited. I feel like even as teachers ourselves, we're struggling with that too.
It's weird from this point, being a teacher, and we're brand new parents, and it's just weird, being on that side also. They're going to school, and our son is going to kindergarten next year, and there's a lot of research. We see this professionally, and should we implement it in our personal lives with our boys? Sometimes as teachers we know too much of how to learn, the best practices how to learn. But, when we, our boys, I guess they're normal, but, we want to support them as best we can. Do we need to start implementing a lot of the new research that's being shared with our boys learning? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Right. At the same time, it's just also great to let the kids be kids. Like, we talk about when they're bored. We're actually trying to train them to figure out what can you do,
right?
Because you can't always be entertained by an adult or a device or with a screen, So that's like the true art of like, what am I gonna do?
And we have to model that also. I'm guilty of being on my iPhone a lot also.
Yeah.
When I'm, how to be bored, or what do I do when I'm bored? That's what people do. They check their phones because they're bored, unfortunately.
True. Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's
Yeah,
one
we
thing
should
to
we
worry
should
about that.
limit that too. True.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what are the takeaways today? So
All right, some of the takeaways. So, like we said in the beginning of this episode, is that when we share our struggles, we just want to show you or to share with you that recognizing your own struggles is important. What are you struggling with? And to recognize that and trying to figure out the small wins that can help you push through those struggles is important.
I mean, maybe even like writing it down helps too. Like even right now typing these show notes is like seeing it in words. You're like, okay,
Right.
it's more affirmative.
And we're sharing this, so to the whole world. But you don't have to share it. It may help you sharing with other people, with the support, friends who can listen to what your struggles are and may have a different perspective on things.
Right.
So, but even though we have these struggles, and we don't want to say it's just a fest of just complaining, so.
Yeah, and for me, of all the different obstacles and moments that you're like, what's going on? Teaching is very joyous. A lot of moments where you just sit there and think, wow, I'm so lucky, because you have all these kids looking to you for all the inspiration. So the cliche, of course, it's the toughest job you'll ever love, but it's very true. I still love it.
Yeah,
Amidst all that.
It's a cliche. It's a cliche. It's the toughest job you'll ever love. Definitely a cliche, but it is true. We keep signing up for it every year.
Yep. And
Right.
what I love about this job is that it's spontaneous. You never know what's going to happen. Every day is different.
It's weird. We have a routine, right? From 8 to 4, everyone has a routine. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursdays. But like you said, it's spontaneous also.
Right. And then, it's the art of thinking on your feet,
That's what it is.
You
Actually, I
figure it
like
out.
that. I actually do like that also.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Because
one
no
of
one
the
teaches you
wins.
how to do that. Like, you can go to school forever. No one taught me how to do that. You just do it,
Thinking on your feet.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Another takeaway is to really recognize that in my position where I meet a lot of teachers, is that I recognize other people's. I've learned how to recognize other people's struggles or what they're going through. Not exactly what they're going through, but I know they're going through something that it helped me build my own empathy of others. And that understanding of people going through whatever they're going through, that can help you or help the situation. You know what? It's okay. It's okay, right? Don't take it personally and just move through. Another small win, like Sharon said, a lot of spontaneous things happen, and there's a lot of smiles, a lot of laughs, a lot of cool compliments. You'll see a lot of the kids' aha moments light up in their eyes. So those are all so cool, and they all add up. You add a laugh here, a smile there, a compliment here. They all add up, and that sum of all that may even push you, or may even go so much you'll have a bigger positive side than your struggles.
Yeah, and that reminds me too of when my kids, they reference a lesson I've taught or something I've said, and they just bring it back, and it was from a while ago, and they could tell they internalized it. So that is so amazing to see. All right, so again, this is not really about us and our problems. We're not trying to complain here, but it's about being able to recognize and identify your own struggles. As a teacher, because we all do have them. And especially as a human being as well, and trying to find ways to face them and not just go, oh, I can't control it, or push it under the rug. We hope we were able to get you thinking of your own solutions and to your struggles, but at the end of the day, teaching is rewarding, and who doesn't love a job where you can laugh with your students,
You can laugh. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. The corniest jokes is to laugh at me. Not with
Not
me.
with you.
Laugh at me.
All
right, very
everyone.
cool.
Thank you for joining us, and please consider subscribing to our podcast and leave an honest rating and comment for feedback. It really helps us make our show better and allows us to be discovered by other educators like you.
Please do so, please.
Yes, and please visit and subscribe to our website, teachingbytes.com, and visit and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/teachingbytes. Goodbye.
All right, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Thank you for listening to the Teaching Bites podcast at www.teachingbytes.com.